I've talked about almost every Pelicans player this offseason. It's Zion's turn. I'm going to tell you why for this year, Zion, it's all on you.
You must know that first. Can't nothing and nobody fade what we trying to do and what we about to do. Second thing is, we got this game on our level. You understand what I'm saying?
Welcome to another episode of In Space. I'm your host, Chris Connor. Shout out to the good people at DraftKings Sportsbook, Bursar Law Firm, Jägermeister, all the good folks that support us. Comment, subscribe, like, share. Clear as day who the show's about. Y'all see the title. If you didn't notice, I got the bucket hat on. It's probably the last time I wear a bucket hat, but I feel like I'm in the spirit giving the title. I gotta. So maybe give me good luck. I'm just gonna do what we do. Yeah, man. During this offseason, I've pretty much talked about everybody. I've pretty much beat every topic I could into the ground. I've discussed scenarios. I've discussed offenses, defenses. I've broken down certain players. We've talked film. We've done it all. But the one person that I have not had a solo show about pretty much during this offseason run is Zion. So I figured today was the right time for it, and we're gonna get into it. So BG free. Shout out to BG. Glad you home, brother. Wish you well. Adjusting back to life, the year 2023. Hope everything goes well for you and your newfound success, my dog. So I named this show Zion Williamson. It's all on you. Tipping my hat to BG. That series didn't make it to Volume 5. This one will. Now, of course, we're talking about Zion's upcoming 5th season. If you throw out the year he missed with the foot injury, his 4th, where we expect him to play games. But the question has always been with Zion, how many will he play? And over the past 5 years, we've discussed a bunch of different situations, a bunch of different circumstances and controversy and we've had question marks. We talked about family. We talked about significant others. We talked about teammates. We talked about pianos. We talked about almost everything possible but playing basketball. Because when he does play basketball, we get things like this.
And Zion takes it away. Off to the races.
Electric. That's what you get. And I'd argue that won't be the last or the best of Zion that we will see. Before the end of his career, we'll see even better version of that person. But this is the year, or the first year, I think, where you need to see it. Now, it's interesting because we talked so often earlier in Zion's tenure about, environment and comfort and giving him pieces that, fit him and surrounding him with certain kind of people. And there's been a lot of that. And there's been a lot of things behind the scenes that I've heard or that I've been told by people I trust that I can't get into. But at the end of the day, one thing I learned about life, and I'm sure we all have, is it's all on you. 9 times out of 10 people got their own problems. They don't care about what you're going through. You got people that will help you in that moment. Go back to them again with the same problem. See how they look at you. Just the truth. That's the raw truth. So what that means is win, loss, whatever the case may be, it's on you. I say that to say there were shout out to Lopez, shout out to Andrew Lopez with ESPN. Congrats to you on moving to San Antonio, covering the Wembanyama. I almost called it a circus, but the situation in San Antonio, wonderful organization to be covering. I'm gonna tap in with Andrew soon and do a spaces on Twitter as he slowly but surely gets ready to make the move from the city. But shout out to Andrew, man. Done a lot of work, a lot of good work for the Pelicans over time, and be happy to collab with them very shortly. But with Zion, there were parts of the podcast that Lopez was on, as he frequently is with Zach Lowe, talking about the different things that he's heard about Zion, or that he knows firsthand. And some of them was that he talked about on the show was that Zion made changes to his personal staff over the summer. He's played pickup with the guys a few weeks ago. He stayed in New Orleans more this summer than he has in the past. And one of the things that David Griffin ended up mentioning on a recent, I think it was a press conference, mentioned that Zion's been in New Orleans, working out in New Orleans, pretty much the most that we've seen him since he's been drafted. So he may have been working out other places before. This year, this offseason has been the offseason where he's been working out in the facility and been visible in New Orleans more than ever. And that's good. That's a part of it being all on you. Because it being all on you is about responsibility. And I think he took a big step forward when we heard him on the Gilbert Arenas show, saying, I could have done a lot of things better. I could have done, I mentioned in the LeBron James blueprint, and maybe being more open and more comfortable, or the most comfortable that we've seen him really with a microphone in his face, I would argue ever, to be honest, at least not in that kind of situation. He seemed to be at peace. And man, great time to be at peace. Have a child, that should be on the way very soon, is about to be a father, and the season is about to start. And the Pelicans have a lot of question marks surrounding them. And that's nothing new necessarily, but it all centers around Zion. With how great Brandon Ingram has become since he's arrived in New Orleans, the improvements that I think he's made to his game, his passing prowess, his ability as a scorer, his strides that he's taken as a leader. He's got one max contract on the way to another, more than likely. He made an all-star team, helped lead the team to the playoffs. They were in the play-in last season, in a team that wasn't set up to be his. Shout out to him. He's put in the work. He's gotten stronger. Was on the FIBA team. For all the improvements, and hope Trey is healing well. For all the improvements with Trey Murphy and all of the excitement about the end of his last season and what he can be going forward. And then we know that CJ McCollum and him being able to get healthy and with a healthy labrum, healthy thumb coming into this year, what I think a lot to prove. It's all on Zion. It's still all about Zion. This team's ceiling is on Zion. It is what it is. It's built for Zion. And through everything that he's through all of the different things, the awkward moments, the questions about leadership, questions about locker room, and the coaching teaspoon being let go, and trade rumors and everything. When he's doing this, don't nobody care.
He's already up to 20 and 11. And it's on. Go to the line.
Because that guy is generational. And that guy does things that transcend whatever other things or areas of improvement that he has to acquire. This offseason was a lot about him. And another reason that it's on him, because we don't question the player. No one questions the player. I used to catch myself talking all the time about, man, I wonder what Zion would look like if he had a consistent three. I wonder what he looked like if he gained a post move and this and that. And sure, those things may all come and they all may be important, but none of it matters because he's so good at this.
On that downhill run, he restarted and then took another.
In fact, no one is as good as he is when it comes to that. No one in the league. No one. And it doesn't matter if he's in the best shape of his life. It doesn't matter if he's in the improved shape he was last year. It doesn't matter if he's out of shape. Feeling like Zion does, I'm sure, it's a quote that was made last year, but I think even when he doesn't feel like Zion, he's capable of doing similar things. He's been in worse shape than he was last year and dominated. There's nothing that anyone can do. We've never seen anybody like Zion. But that means it's all on him. In the years without Zion, with Zion missing time, major time. We're not counting a bubble year. Since the Stan Van Gundy year, we've seen the Pelicans finish 8 games of the 500, make the play and get eliminated in 6 games. Phoenix Suns. Then the next season, win 42 games, make the play up. Well, no, make the play in, get eliminated, go home, season over with. With him, the team looked the best that we've ever seen it. With him, certain guys, there was a certain level of juice, certain level of it is what it is. There's no and people, I don't want people to listen to the show and take it as like, hey, this is like an insult to anyone else on the team. But it's levels, man. It's levels. And that guy, this guy, is something that no one can replicate. You can't mimic that. I don't really think you could say I'm patterning my game after Zion, because you can't. You can't trademark well, no. Zion's game, Zion Williamson is trademarked. He's gonna be one of his own, one of a kind. But that means nothing if it isn't capitalized off of. That means nothing if it isn't if all of the work isn't put into it to get the most out of it. And I don't know. I hope, I feel like Zion's been through enough for maybe this time for him to truthfully realize he's 23 now. It is on him. He's unlike anything that we've ever seen. Previous shows, I've showed y'all stats and everything. I don't need to show it to you when it comes to Zion, because you already know. You know that dude walks into the gym and he's going to give you 25, 7 and 5. And when he was at his best last year, it was more than that. I'm going to tell you, everybody won't say it, but that dude for a stretch was the best player in basketball. But we don't get a chance to see it often. Part of the reason is because a lot of you being able to see it more starts currently now. When there aren't any games, when there aren't preseason, it's the preparation for it. We heard him on the Gilbert Arenas show talk about more band work and talk about other things that he was doing to extend time, to be more flexible, and to be more available and changing certain habits. Those habits also have to continue during the season. I look at certain injuries, Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy, of course, being out. I look at certain deficiencies on the team, certain deficiencies that existed last season. And I hear folks interested in adding other players. And there are certain elements that the Pelicans needed to address. I don't think it's over with. But it's still all on Zion. If Zion is that guy, if he's this guy again, once again.
And Zion takes it away. Off to the races.
None of it will matter. I don't know why the video didn't show the dunk. It was supposed to, but whatever. None of it will matter. If he's an extension of that dude that was defending at that level, or the best level that we've seen him as, in passing lanes, going coast to coast, finishing and ones at the free throw line, closing games, ending games, dominating games, back-to-backs, it didn't matter. It's not going to matter. Love Trey Murphy. Love Jose Alvarado. Y'all know the relationship I have with Trey's people. Look, if Zion is that guy, they better get by. If 1 and 14 are able to continue establishing chemistry and being able to be out there and adjusting to each other and figuring out how to play and maximize each other, bring the individual success that we've seen them have apart, they can bring that together, they can overcome almost anything. But it's all on Zion. He's the guy. The last 2 appearances, the playoffs, the play-in, Brandon was out there. CJ was out there. Make an argument CJ shouldn't have been out there last year, but he was. Zion's turn. This is the opportunity for him to create the impact and finish the promise of last season, finish the promise that the city invested into, and really make it into a reality and something that's sustainable outside of a few weeks, outside of a month. Man, there was a period of time I loved hearing December. I loved hearing everything about how great this team was doing December. I loved hearing first in the West. That was dope. I fed into that for a little bit. We're in September now. We're entering October. We got to be talking about upcoming December now. And it's all on Zion. When Zion's on the floor, that's all defenses care about. They will sacrifice leaving 40% shooters, 38% shooters, three-point shooters. They will sacrifice leaving all NBA, all-star caliber talent. They will sacrifice leaving them open, all to stop him. 5 defensive players, coaches included, all looking at him, scheming around how to stop something that they can't. Isn't that crazy? You spend all that time trying to stop something that you can't. The best I've seen from last season was Utah. They had 3 7-footers on the floor. 3 dudes, at least 6'11", all on the floor at once. That's what it took. Side of that, I really haven't seen. And the Pelicans still almost won one of them games. That's the truth. We talk about possible roster additions and people being gone and people coming back and Brandon and FIBA and this and that. It's all on Zion. You want to know why the team hasn't, why they stood where they were at and only added Cody Zeller and drafted Jordan Hawkins? There's been some comments that's out there. I'm going to tell you what I believe and what I've heard. Because it's all on Zion. They believe in that building that he is the best player on that team. He has to work consistently and act like it. He has to be it, and he has to be available to show it consistently. Because it's putting other people in situations that they are just not capable of thriving in, like he is. Zion can thrive in chaos. He can thrive with unfit and unbalanced and, rosters that aren't 100% modern. That's what generational is. He can thrive in spite of. Everybody can't do that. Some guys can do it game to game. Some guys can do it for a week, for a month. Eventually, they hit a wall. Zion is the wall. He breaks the wall. He goes through the wall. They thought that guarding him like Giannis was going to be the thing that stopped him. Nope. He's different. But going into last season, that was a big part of it, ignited the fan base again. Everybody was all bought in. Season tickets were sold out. People was showing up, pulling out. And early on, the team was delivering. They had a chance to really grab the entire city's attention. Well, they lost it again. Because now all the attention is back on the Saints. That way. They on the Saints. But you see who I got on top on my building. It's not a building, on my wall. The Pelicans. And the only way the Pelicans can be on top again, in the reality of this, is Zion Williamson. Brandon can be an all-NBA player. I think he's capable of it. CJ can have a career year? I think he could. So could Trey. So could Herb. So could Dyson. Drop the show about Dyson. I got a show about Dyson coming out. So can so many other dudes. Maybe Jordan Hawkins surprises. Najee in a contract year could be great. Jonas, he gonna be out there 70+ games. Maybe the offense is gonna be improved. Maybe a lot of guys come out with something to prove. 100%. But a ceiling, they will only go as far as number one allows them to. And he can't do that if he ain't out there. He can't do that if he's not taking this thing personal and being the professional that everybody has been hoping and asking of him to be. I'm hoping this is the year that it all comes together and it all happens. And I'm hoping from there, the team trusts the future enough to make moves that further and further fit what should be the identity of this team. Because when Zion's out there, they run. It's a little different juice in the building. Guys know they're going to get shots that they could only dream about. And in some respects, they do when Brandon's out there as well, when you look at the spots in which he's, doubled and triple team, coming off screens, the traps, and so on and so forth. Zion's traps are coming at the damn free throw line. And he's still going to end up somehow putting up a layup. Generational talent. And I, for one, hope that it's not going to be wasted. And I think this is the year, Volume 5. It's the perfect year for him to put it together and bring this team to the promised land. That may not be a championship. He's going to have to share that with Brandon and with CJ and with others, but as a part of a big three. But if he's going to be the best player that he can be, and ultimately if this team is going to go as far as some hope and some believe that they can go, it will consistently be all on him. And that won't change this year. That won't change next year. That won't change forever. Because when you are a generational talent, that's what comes with it. I ain't got to show y'all nothing else. I hope that brother's ready. And I hope that his presence and him being ready helps turn this team, this roster, this organization into what I think a lot of people in the fan space and in the media and the content world has been salivating over since they arrived 2003. Word from DraftKings. We out here.
Can you believe we've had 7 months without an NFL game? Crazy, right? Well, good thing that's over. NFL's here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. Download now and use code BOOT to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's code BOOT. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours.